Okay, thank you, Noelle, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you to Creative Mornings for the opportunity to be here today and to talk to you all about takeout hunger and about resilience. In preparing for the presentation today, I did a lot of research on the topic of resilience. And it turns out there's a lot of information out there on the subject. Books, articles, TED Talks, YouTube videos galore, all in an effort to teach us how to be more resilient. Apparently, there are 7 steps, or 12 tips, or 10 key factors to help you be more resilient. But the bottom line, in my humble opinion, is it boils down to 2 things: gratitude and human connection. Shit happens. It just does. We can't control every aspect of our lives. And that's certainly something that we learned during this pandemic. But what we can control is how we respond to the curveballs that life throws us. But before I get into all of this, why am I talking to you? What makes me an expert on being resilient? It's hard to tell if someone is resilient just by looking at them. This is me in November 1979. I look like a pretty normal 16-year-old girl. This picture is April 1979, 7 months earlier. Me, also at age 16, although I looked more like a 10-year-old. I only weighed 85 pounds. You see, I was born in 1963 with a multitude of heart defects. My parents were told that I wouldn't likely live to see my 5th birthday. I spent much of my childhood in and out of hospitals. And in 1979, I had open heart surgery when I was 16 years old to correct the problems in my heart. I was looking forward to being a normal kid, taking gym class, participating in sports. However, during the surgery, my own heart's electrical system was damaged, and I was given a temporary external pacemaker in the hopes that my heart would heal on its own and begin beating on its own. Unfortunately, that was not to be, and 9 days after my open heart surgery, I was taken back into the surgery and a permanent pacemaker was put in. And I was told that I would be 100% pacemaker dependent for the rest of my life. My mom's favorite saying was always look for the silver lining in every situation. So despite all of the complications after the surgery, I gained 25 pounds, I grew 4 inches taller, and I jumped 3 shoe sizes in a 6-month period. My father joked that he never would have agreed to the operation had he known he was going to have to buy me a whole new wardrobe. In my heart, I know it would never beat on its own, but I still had a new lease on life. I wasn't that sickly kid on the left anymore. Maybe I'd never be a star athlete, but my heart was working as it was supposed to, and I was generally pretty healthy. Fast forward to 2021, I'm 58 years old. I'll celebrate my 35th wedding anniversary this summer, and I'm the proud mother of 2 incredibly handsome boys. And I'm on my 8th pacemaker. I play a lot of tennis, and I lead a fairly active life, battery operated and all. I am resilient. But I know for a fact I couldn't have done it without this lady in my corner. This beautiful person is my mom. Thanksgiving week this past November, she lost her battle with dementia after 8 long years with Alzheimer's disease. In 2017, I moved her from South Carolina to a memory care facility in Rye, New Hampshire, so that I could visit with her every day. Life had come full circle. My mom, my best friend, and who had been my rock through all of my hospital stays when I was growing up, could no longer care for herself and needed me to become her caregiver. Our roles had reversed. And when the pandemic hit, our visits were limited to only weekly and through a window. I hated it. Her confusion seemed to worsen. And as the days and weeks lingered on, she was placed on hospice care at the end of October, and I was allowed to visit with her in her room and did so every day. That's a silver lining, for a month until she passed peacefully in her sleep as I held her hand. My mom's passing left a huge void in my life. Taking care of her had kind of been the center of my universe these last few years. And now she was gone. I'd lost my purpose. And because of my own health issues, I had very limited social engagement as the pandemic loomed large. I was floundering, depressed. So much of my life had been an exercise in resiliency in the face of great hardship. But in truth, I wasn't sure how I was going to get through all of this. Then, Christmas week, I received a phone call from my dear friend Helen Crow. She'd recently moved to Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and she told me that she was concerned about the rise in local folks who were food insecure. She was also seeing an increase in the restaurant closings due to the pandemic. And Helen and her husband Tom could only eat so much takeout, and she thought there had to be a better way to help. She researched how other communities were responding to these issues. And what she came up with was Take Out Hunger, a campaign that would raise money to compensate restaurants to prepare nutritious meals for the food insecure in our community. I thought Helen's idea was brilliant, and I was more than happy to offer my experience as a fundraiser to help her get this campaign off the ground. We are now a committee of 6, pooling our collective resources, skills, and social capital to sustain Take Out Hunger, which we launched the first week of January this year. Across New Hampshire, nonprofits serving the food insecure have experienced exponential growth in need, while simultaneously forced to cancel their fundraising events and limit their volunteer engagement and innovate new ways to feed our most vulnerable residents. 1 in 7 Granite Staters do not know where their next meal is coming from, according to estimates from the New Hampshire Food Bank. That's an additional 55,500 people who are now food insecure as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, resulting in a total of more than 181,000 food insecure people across New Hampshire. It's a 69% increase from just a year ago. In addition to this, you can't turn on the radio or read a newspaper or watch the TV news without hearing about how bad the pandemic's been for the restaurant industry. Take Out Hunger model is incredibly simple. We raise funds to compensate restaurants to prepare delicious and nutritious meals that are then distributed to the food insecure individuals and families through local nonprofits who serve our most vulnerable. Gather, a nonprofit working to end hunger in Portsmouth, generously agreed to act as our fiscal sponsor. Based on similar models, restaurants are compensated $10 per meal. We call it a win-win-win. Take Out Hunger has received an incredible response from the community. We are truly humbled and overwhelmed by the outpouring of support from individuals and local businesses, which have enabled our mission to grow exponentially since its inception. We started the first week of January with 3 restaurants in Portsmouth, and we were able to provide 350 meals to 3 local nonprofits for the food insecure. That's 350 meals a week. Today's numbers, just 5 months later, we are averaging 1,600 meals a week, working with 30 different restaurants who are partnered with 13 different nonprofit organizations. And we have expanded our outreach beyond Portsmouth to include Exeter, Hampton, Dover, Seabrook, as well as Kittery and Berwick, Maine. And as of this week, we have served over 20,000 meals to the food insecure population since the beginning of our campaign. Please allow me to share this wonderful video produced by Juke Booth to tell you a little bit more about Takeout Hunger.
We've seen a lot of people that we never saw before because of COVID. We have a lot of working class families that just struggle to make all the ends meet, especially in our area. We, just quadrupled our numbers. It's been insane. We move over 200,000 pounds of food a month through our warehouses to get it out to the community where it's needed. We were seeing between 700, around 650 to 700 children and families every week since March.
The homeless population, again, before COVID, we would average probably 17 a month. Since COVID, it's over 40. They're coming back more and more for food, clothes, tents, sleeping bags, just in a 3-mile radius here at Portsmouth. Right now that I know about personally, there's about 24.
We're very excited to be a fiscal sponsor for Takeout Hunger. I think it's a wonderful idea. People love the pre-made meals. It's one way that we know we can put healthy food into people's bodies.
So it's been pretty exciting the last couple of weeks to provide that hot meal. Just to watch their faces as they consume that. It's been pretty neat.
Restaurants like mine, which traditionally have really fed only a small microcosm of the population, now have the opportunity to address the needs of the whole population. So this is an absolutely wonderful opportunity for our kitchen to be something more.
We're really proud to be part of Takeout Hunger as well, to, like you said, give back to the community in that way.
The one thing that I've learned about it is that it's just the bigger picture is you're taking care of everybody. Food is love, you know what I mean? So you want them to feel the warmth.
Takeout Hunger is a wonderful opportunity that really solves the problem that a lot of restaurants are facing right now. Restaurants like mine, which traditionally really fed only a small microcosm of the population, now have the opportunity to address the needs of the whole population. Traditionally, how chefs have been recognized for being able to present food in a unique and interesting way. But to me, this is far more creative, far more interesting, and certainly far more valuable.
I have people who ask me all the time, I really want to help. What are some of the ways that they can do that? And by supporting Takeout Hunger, they can know that they're helping partner with agencies that need to deliver meals to people who are less fortunate.
You don't get to choose where you live, you don't get to choose what you eat. And so giving this experience of having a hot meal that you get to just order off of the menu, like anybody else, I think is really important.
Takeout Hunger has been a great program for us. We've utilized their food. The food's fantastic. It's portioned properly, it's packaged properly, and it's delivered to us.
Right now the focus is being part of the community and figuring out how we can all help each other get through this thing. It'd be nice to be able to sustain more of these community relationships between restaurants and nonprofits, and we're lucky to be in a community where people really care and want to help one another.
This fills my soul. It was my brother's dream. He was the kindest person I've ever met. It was his dream to have a food truck that he would run and then serve his community, and to be able to fulfill that, really have a legacy for him and for my family, and to just have those good vibes just ripple out through the entire community at a time when everything is so hard. It really warms me. Us.
Thank you for watching, and thanks to Sean Collins of Juke Booth for producing that video pro bono. As I noted before, I think that there are two things that comes down to being resilient. gratitude, and human connection. Do I lament or regret my childhood spent in and out of hospitals? No, I don't. From my perspective, I've learned to appreciate that every day that I wake up and put my feet on the floor is a good day. I try not to sweat the small stuff, and I know that my glass is not just half full, it's overflowing. I'm 58 years old, and unlike a lot of my friends, I welcome every birthday with open arms and a grateful heart. Ah, as my mother began her devastating journey, that is the fight that's Alzheimer's disease, I remembered her favorite saying, always find the silver lining. I had the great honor and privilege to care for her in her time of need, as she had done for me so many years earlier. This opportunity was such an incredible blessing. Spending this much time with my mom at the end of her life was really something I'd never trade away. I think that practicing a lifetime of gratitude really helped me stay resilient through that process. And beyond that, I met some wonderful people who were on the same path as I was, who were watching our loved ones fade away. And the bonds that we developed and the friendships that I made, I will be forever grateful for, which I think leads me to the most important factor of all in a resilient life: human connection. Resiliency doesn't mean doing things on your own. One thing I've learned through all our trials and tribulations is that it always helps to have someone in your corner. For me, as a child, that was my mom. And when she needed my help when she got older, I was there for her. And when she passed away and I was needing human connection more than ever, Helen reached out to me with an idea that would give me new purpose for my life. And the six of us came together to make that a reality. The pandemic's been a difficult test for the entire world, but the resiliency I have seen in my own community through our work with Take Out Hunger has been nothing short of astounding. I have gained newfound appreciation for the nonprofits in our community who work tirelessly to feed the hungry, not just during a pandemic, but all the time. They have proven their own resiliency to reinvent ways to do their work while keeping their staff, their volunteers, and the people they serve healthy and safe during these extraordinary conditions. I'm also proud of the restaurants partners and their staff who have connected with a population in need and give their love of food to those who would not typically be able to afford to dine in their restaurants. For many of these restaurants, their desire to be part of the solution to help the food insecure has been inspirational and shown their ability to be resilient during these difficult times. I believe these partnerships will last long after COVID-19 is in our rearview mirror. I'm also grateful for our corporate partners who saw the need during a pandemic to fund a brand new nonprofit effort and have encouraged each other to contribute to the cause. Perhaps you've heard of the Portsmouth Together 200 Challenge, launched by XSS Hotels and Cathartes, which challenged local businesses to contribute to their matching funds and to help support local arts and nonprofit organizations, including Take Out Hunger. Their efforts have raised more than $250,000 for our community. Simply amazing. Perhaps I'm most grateful for our individual donors who make up 66% of our fundraising efforts. People who went to our website and clicked on the donation button. In a time of crisis, when many were struggling to make ends meet and put food on the table, a community came together to lift each other up. And I think that's a silver lining that my mom would be very proud of. Hopefully, we are coming to the point where there's an end and a light at the end of the COVID tunnel. And as that light begins to shine brighter, I hope that you will all take a moment to look for the silver linings in your own life and to think about what you have to be grateful for. And if you can, think if there's anyone you know who might be needing someone in their corner right now. Thank you for listening, and here's to finding silver linings.